You know what? I absolutely refuse to talk about African presidents today. Three South African football officials were banned by FIFA this week for some allegations made about the 2010 World Cup. And I know you're probably wondering, well, Yolanda, the 2010 World Cup was 6 years ago. Why does it matter now? See what I did there? Well, good question, you. The suspension of these three men is only a small fraction of what is being called now the FIFA Corruption Scandal. Or what I'm calling the, oh my god, can you believe that this body made up of rich people that operated with an extreme degree of autonomy in governing one of the world's most popular sports was actually corrupt? What a shocker. It's just interesting to note that in the 2011 to 2014 financial period, FIFA made $5.72 billion in revenue with an actual profit of $338 million, which is still a huge chunk of money to make as a profit alone. The World Cup held in South Africa placed FIFA at number 3 on the 2010 Forbes list of the world's most valuable sports brands, raking in a nice $147 million, beaten only by the Summer Olympics at $230 million and the US Super Bowl at $425 million. Okay, so we're talking about big money floating around here. The investigations into this deep well of corruption go as far back as the 1990s because, as you know, FIFA votes for World Cup hosting countries well in advance. Anyways, FIFA was or is basically being accused of accepting bribes worth just over $150 million. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, the question is, how the hell is Africa, or in this case particularly South Africa, involved? South Africa is being accused of having paid FIFA officials a $10 million bribe in order to guarantee that they would win the 2010 World Cup bid. In 2001, FIFA decided to try a continental rotational system so that every confederation would get a chance, and there'll be less competition for, of course, smaller countries. That meant that in the 2010 World Cup, only African countries were applicable. I'm going to try and explain the FIFA bidding process as best as I can as it applied to the 2010 World Cup. Mind you, that the FIFA bidding process has actually been described as something out of the Wild West. But here goes. It starts off with FIFA sending out a letter of invitation so countries can express their interest in bidding. They're then given a deadline to officially register. Soon after that, the countries / FIFA assign bid committees. They also then sign an agreement to host, amongst other documents. And then FIFA sends out some of its own people to go inspect the facilities and see whether these countries can actually accommodate the millions of people who are expected to watch the World Cup. So in 2002, by this stage, Egypt, South Africa, Morocco, Libya co-hosting with Tunisia, and Nigeria, which intended to co-host with Benin, Ghana, and Togo, had officially placed their bids. But Nigeria and Libya later had to withdraw their bid after FIFA announced that joint bidding would no longer be allowed. After all this, someone allegedly throws in a bribe or two, and then the FIFA Executive Committee votes on who's going to be hosting the World Cup. South Africa won with 14 votes, Morocco had 10, and Egypt had 0. Now this is where things get interesting. Last year, the Daily Telegraph released an article stating that Morocco had actually won the 2010 bid after bribing then FIFA Vice President Jack Warner with $1 million. But supposedly, he double-crossed them to accept the much higher bribe of $10 million from South Africa. South Africa denied everything, stating that the $10 million transferred to Warner's account was actually a donation to the African diaspora. That's what they're going with. And I'm sure everything would have gone very smoothly had the South African newspaper, the Sunday Times, not released an email between Sepp Blatter, who was the president of FIFA at that time, and Thabo Mbeki, who was the president of South Africa at that time, apparently discussing the 10 million donation. Just a few days later, Sepp Blatter, who had just been voted in for his 5th term as FIFA president, resigned. Not suspicious at all. Alright, let's bring this in for a home run. Wait, I think that's baseball. Anyways, these three are actually not the first South African officials to be suspended in regards to the FIFA corruption scandal. Most notably, a South African Football Association official, Lindile Kika. They've been banned from all football-related activity for 5 years for match fixing in international friendlies just prior to the 2010 World Cup. What I don't understand is, since South Africa automatically qualified to be in the 2010 World Cup because it was the host country, Why would they need to fix friendlies, no less? This is still to be confirmed, but rumours are that the matches in question were South Africa's 5-0 win against Guatemala and their 2-1 win against Colombia just a few weeks before the World Cup started. Was this all an elaborate plot to make the South African team seem intimidating? I don't know, but if that's the case, they probably should have started a few years before the World Cup, not just a few weeks. Anyways, that's a little bit of information I have to share with you today. I want to know what you guys seriously think about this, particularly your theories on the match fixing. And most importantly, do you believe that any one body should have the degree of autonomy that FIFA has operated with for so many years? Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. See y'all next week.